It's time for Inside the Gamecocks, the show with Phil Mullinax and J.C. Sherbert.
So, how many of you would say you speak English fairly well, but with some difficulty?
Fat, drunk, and stupid is no way to go through life, son.
You play to win the game.
Now, let's take it away, J.C. and Phil.
Good morning, everybody.
I think we do that on Fridays. We have that. For some reason, the rooster wants to crow.
Yeah.
Twice on Friday episodes. It's the show Inside the Gamecocks. I'm J.C. Sherbert. He is Phil Mullinax. Made it through our first full week, 5 full episodes this week, Phil. So that's right. Good. No power outages. No sickness, nothing like that. We fought off the sickness at the beginning of the week. Quite a day in Gamecock land yesterday with a lot of news pouring in. And the biggest news, I think, and it's all big. Recruiting news is big. Football news is obviously big. But the most surprising news, I think, Phil, concerned Carolina baseball. Former Clemson head coach, former Gamecock assistant, former College of Charleston head coach, Monty Lee is joining Mark Kingston's baseball staff because Chad Kaye decided he wanted to go back and be closer to family in Mississippi, which is fine, and that's good. There, like John Whittle reported, he was not asked to leave. There was no scandal. There was nobody sick. It just was a simple family decision. We all make those, but it's a fascinating dynamic now with Gamecock baseball. And I believe, don't we have somebody to come in and talk about this yet or not?
He's not quite here yet, but we may have a special guest to get in and talk about all those dynamics. I personally think it's a pretty good hire, or a really good hire. And you lose an assistant coach in baseball right now before fall semester is about to start. It's not always a positive thing. Everybody's kind of set. You're kind of scrambling. And luckily for the Gamecocks, Monty Lee was available. He's about to take a job with the Los Angeles Dodgers organization and do a little pro ball. But, like I was saying the other day, pro ball and college ball, sort of unlike in the baseball. I say ball, I mean the general ball. Unlike football and basketball, there's more of you kind of have guys that work their way up in the minors and majors, and guys that work their way up in college baseball. I mean, it's a lot different. I think the chance to stay in state and continue working for the state of South Carolina was probably a factor with it, and just the fact that Monty Lee has been a Gamecock. I mean, I know he's a Tiger for a while, but he's been a Gamecock most of the time, obviously coaching with Ray Tanner and all of that. But that was the most surprising news yesterday. We also had some recruiting stuff. Xavier Mcleod finally commits to South Carolina. I can finally say that Xavier was the very first welcome home in the class back in January. And I'll say this. This is why and there was about 48 hours where I based on some intel I got, I was kind of hedging a little bit. But I've been pretty confident about this since January, and here's why. That welcome home, Phil, from Beamer came right after Xavier visited Georgia for their national championship celebration. Oh, wow.
Yeah, I mean, it was literally, the day after. And I just kind of knew. I mean, I was like, it didn't make much sense. I was like, well, he goes to Athens, and that's about peak dog down there, right?
Yeah,
their national championship celebration. I mean, I talked to some people that were there. It was wild, man. I mean, everybody. I mean, and I love Georgia. I have many, many friends that are Georgia fans, and I love all those guys. And I was very happy for them.
Oh yeah.
But man, you go down there at peak dog hour, and for that, and then you come back and commit to Carolina, even if it's not public. To me, that kind of still told me something. And then, so that's why. That's why I never I was kind of more bullish on Xavier Mcleod than most, despite his
The delays and
and so it's one of those things. Craig on the Nana Sports chat line says, why did he say he didn't know until 11 last night if he'd already committed? I don't know why he says things that he says on social media or interviews or anything, and that's fine. I think some kids like to build some suspense, and that's not a bad thing. I mean, we have to remember at times these are high school kids.
Yeah, and we have our guest on now here.
Oh, good. Thank you. I was vamping a little bit there. Want to welcome back in. There he is.
Good morning.
Looking like without the hat today. Yeah. Jamie Bradford from the Chief Sports Media. I got to get used to saying Chief Sports Media. It's like Heritage Digital. I can never get that out. So Jamie, big news yesterday. Obviously, it's a subject near and dear to your heart. Carolina baseball and Monty Lee. Just kind of give us your general reaction to that news. We kind of knew it was coming there for a couple of days, me and you, but when it started, the news came out, kind of your reaction to all that.
First of all, appreciate you having me back on. If I'm interrupted, it's because a couple little 3-year-olds are going to come running out telling me they need something. That's why I was late getting on, because they were doing what they do. So we're up here in the mountains for the weekend, and so it's just Dad, and I'm I don't have enough arms, as you all know how that is.
Right. Yeah.
But man, I am so excited for Monty. One of the best baseball people I know, if not the best baseball person I know. Gamecock at heart, played at the College of Charleston, grew up in Lugoff, knows this state inside and out, respected by everybody. South Carolina is, and this is, by the way, this is not a shot at all at Mark Kingston or anything like that, but they're not going to miss on in-state prospects moving forward. I mean, if you want to play baseball at South Carolina and you're hesitant or on the fence about it, Monty Lee will get you to the other side of the fence. Talked to so many guys yesterday that I've known for a long time who are just fired up for the program. Matt Campbell, Drew Meyer, Justin Smoke, Mike Sisko, Blake Cooper. I mean, I could keep going on. I mean, guys that were just so energized by Monty being back in a Gamecock uniform. And, he's a guy who has an unbelievable story. A lot of people don't know Monty's real story. I'm lucky enough to do so because I was 9 years old when my dad passed, and I got to be the bat boy at the College of Charleston growing up in Mount Pleasant. And Monty played for the Cougars and Ralph Civiteri and was kind of like a big brother to me. Monty had his first daughter early. He was in college and he was playing baseball. His first wife, Kelly, they were married in college, had a daughter. Monty lived in a trailer. He worked and played baseball. And then when he got drafted, played for the Cardinals. And then, after that, I mean, he put his time in, man. I mean, he was volunteering at Wando. He was working with the Diamond Devils. And then he went to Spartanburg Methodist. And then Coach Tanner brought him in an unpaid role. And, he's really put his time in. But he's invested it wisely because he's just continued to make himself the best baseball guy that he can make himself. And you can't, if there's somebody out there that says something bad about Monty, it's more of a reflection of them than it is him. I mean, he is the best. And it's so awesome to see him back at South Carolina. It's an interesting dynamic. I get that. But it's awesome. And on top of all that, guys, now that I don't have to host a daily show anymore and I don't have to thread the needle, he's shoving it up the ass of the orange in the upstate. And I just love that. He probably would never tell you that. He's got too much class, way too much class. And Monty will always respect the program that he was the head coach for, and he'll always respect the players. That's just Monty. But he's kind of flipping them the bird too, and I love that.
Well, heck, a lot of his players that he had up at Clemson are transferred to South Carolina too. I mean,
they defected. Yeah,
there's some defectors. I guess Phil calls it the orange fog. Jamie, some people, and let's be honest about this. Kingston has to turn it around this year. I mean, he's got to get it going. Some people kind of speculate maybe, oh gosh, this is the way to get Monty Lee the job or the head coaching job at Carolina, or Ray Tanner this, Ray Tanner that. I don't really see it that way. I kind of see it as you lost a coach right before the daggum school year starts. Go get the best coach you can get, and a guy that can really make an impact, even if in a short amount of time, with your recruiting, with your coaching, and all that. So, your take on the whole narrative that, oh, this is just Ray, blah, 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 setting it up. I don't think it's a setup at all.
No, I mean, if that's something that happens down the road, then that's something that happens down the road. Steve Spurrier once said, coaching's all about timing. Yeah. And this just happened to work out. Monty and Ray are tight, man. And, Coach Tanner has been such an unbelievable influence to so many people in this state, so many people. And Monty is one of those that Coach Tanner, I mean, Monty would tell you, and I don't want to speak for him. I hope y'all get him on the show. Let him speak for himself. But there's just not many people he has more respect for than Ray Tanner and Ralph Civiteri, who he played for, who is like the godfather of baseball here in the, well, not here, but back home in the Low Country. And so, if it works out that way, that's great. But I mean, at the end of the day, I think that, Monty, he's been a head coach now for a long time at the college and then going to Clemson. It's tough to slip back into an assistant's role, especially when you were coaching their arch rival, at this high level of baseball. So Monty deserves a lot of credit in being able to kind of, guys get egos when that happens. And Monty, and everybody has an ego. Monty's got an ego too, because he's a damn good baseball coach, but he doesn't have an ego so large that he's like, no, I'm not going to be somebody's assistant, and so he deserves a lot of credit for that. Ray Tanner deserves a boatload of credit for making sure that this thing is going to, come together and work. And Mark Kingston deserves a ton of credit. Think about that for a second. If you're the head coach at South Carolina, everybody loves Monty Lee, and he just gets canned at your rival, and he's been beating you the last couple of years. Yeah. And dang well, Mark's not dumb. Mark's a smart guy, and Mark's a good guy, by the way. I know he's got to get it turned around, but he's a good guy. But he knows, like, hey, as soon as we hit a skid, people in the stands are going to be shouting for Monty Lee to step into my shoes.
That's true, man.
Like message boards and Twitter and stuff like that. Anything that people say about this, like, you really think that these three guys hadn't already thought about that? Of course they have. So, but I think that's what makes this very interesting and very unique, in the fact that this has been discussed and that there is an understanding amongst men. These guys are pros. They're professionals. And they're going to do what's best for the University of South Carolina, and they're going to make this baseball program the best that they can make it. And this baseball program deserves it. This is the proudest program athletically in the history of the state. I know Clemson's won 3 national championships. Well, 2.5, like in football. I get that. But think about the amount of success that's been sustained for Gamecock baseball from the 70s until now. That's 50-something years, guys. Yeah. This is the proudest athletic program in the state, and they deserve to win. And so props to King, props to Monty, props to Coach Tanner for putting the best thing that they can together to try to go out and accomplish that this year.
Let's talk with Jamie Bradford from Chief Sports Media, frequent guest here on the show. Wanted to get his take on the Monty Lee back to Carolina situation. But, hey, there was some other news yesterday, too. Xavier Mcleod finally jumps in the boat. This recruiting class for football, Jamie, the in-state group is strong on the line of scrimmage. Good news is, too, in the next class, you got 2 humongous offensive tackles who are elite in the state, and I think Carolina's getting both of them as things stand today. So your take on the current state of Gamecock recruiting?
Well, so the Xavier McLeod news. I mean, this is JC. I say we because I just talk to people that actually do it. But I mean, This has kind of been, we've kind of known about this for a while, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
he was the first welcome home.
Yeah. I mean, I remember back, we've talked about this before. I'm not going to give away all the behind the scenes conversations, but I mean, all right. So, but with that said, I think a lot of coaches would tell you that it is much more difficult sometimes to hold on to a guy than to get a guy. Mm-hmm. And boy, they had to weather the storm to keep him. And it looks like they'll probably end up doing so in the end when they sign, hopefully in December.
Yeah.
I know that the class is got a chance to improve even more, down the line with a couple of the other big names that are still out there that are highly considering South Carolina. I know you're right in the thick of kind of what's going on there, JC, with that. So I always defer to you and your team when it comes to recruiting.
Sure.
But at the end of the day, I mean, I think that one of the things that we anticipated with Shane and his staff was that they would be able to utilize the transfer portal to try to speed up the turnaround. And we all knew that they would be able to recruit this state and beyond, but I'm not sure that everybody totally understood how quickly that might happen. Like, I kind of thought that he deserved a couple of years before we started seeing some of the bigger names fall, and most importantly, because of the success that Clemson's had, before he was able to kind of start putting those barriers back up around the state and bringing them back down to the Midlands as opposed to losing them to the upstate, which, by the way, Muschamp didn't lose everybody to the upstate. I mean, Zach Pickens, Jordan Birch. I mean, there's a lot of guys that he's gotten. But, I mean, now this is back to 10, 12 years ago. I mean, Carolina was signing everybody in the state, and then they were winning. And I'm not sure if that's how it's going to translate or not. Sure hope it does. But it reminds me of that. And I just thought that, hey, with the last 5-6 years of Clemson's success, it's going to take some time to really kind of regrow those roots in South Carolina and start locking it down. And that's not true. I mean, Shane has he's put this thing pedal to the metal, and here they are. JC, they're signing the best players in the state. I happen to think that they have got the 3 best players in the state. I don't think no personal feelings here, but I don't think Monroe Freeling is the top player in this state. Matter of fact, I don't think he's one of the top 5 players in the state, to be honest with you. So I think that they are doing a hell of a job, and I just hope that carries over this year and then continue the momentum with, putting some W's up on the board.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. It's Carolina basically got everybody they wanted within the state of South Carolina, and that happens. And look, Clemson wanted Marquis Anderson, right?
Yeah.
And so that's a win. That's another in-state win, especially in a place like Dorman that's been such a Clemson stronghold over the years. I continue to read stuff too, and hear from contacts about practice. Looks like Spencer Rattler had a good week of practice last week. Was told he has a great week of practice this week. You continuing to feel pretty confident about him when he hits the field here in 2 weeks from tomorrow.
Yeah. By the way, I just saw Craig's message. Craig already there. I was there at 7:00 this morning, eating my Joey's pancakes. So we love it. We love it up here in Maggie Valley. I mean, I haven't heard anything different all week. I'd say the last day or so. Yesterday I thought I was just going to get on the road and ride up here and have a nice weekend, and then bam, 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 my phone's going off while I'm passing Asheville, and I'm like, what the hell is going on? Oh yeah, Monty's stuff is coming out today. Yeah. And then I forgot about Mcleod, and then it rolled into some calls last night about just some practice stuff. But yeah, I mean, I think JC, the only thing that's been concerning to me is the guys who've been banged up, not in the fact that they're going to be out for a long time. You just really like them to be able to get their work in and try to be as sharp as they can, because I continue to say this. I mean, the conversations surrounding the start of the season continue to defer to Arkansas and then Georgia. And it's like, oh God, if they beat Arkansas, they're 2-0 and game day is coming to Columbia. Georgia State's not bad. And I'm not saying, look, this isn't one of those things where it's like, this isn't Lou Holtz. Right? We're not going to Lou Holtz this thing, where Erskine's going to come in and beat us or something. Now, that's not what I'm saying. I'm being serious. Georgia State is not bad. Now, more than likely what's going to happen there is Georgia State's going to get worn down in the trenches, and that's where Carolina will probably pull away in the second half. That's probably kind of what you hope.
Yeah.
But but they're not bad. And so, you want your guys to be sharp in that first game. And so, that's been a little concerning, but from what I understand, there's nothing that's really serious. They're working out the kinks and they'll be fine.
All right, Jamie Bradford, thank you for joining us, jumping on, and enjoy your I just wish I was there.
Here.
On that board. Man, I have a cold Phil. Well, what are we doing? We should all three just be there pounding. I don't know, man. Anyway.
Well, that's what I was doing. Flint called me last night about midnight. He said, are you asleep? I said, hell no, I'm sitting in the hot tub.
Yeah. That sounds great. Well, Jamie, thanks for jumping on with us. And we'll talk to you here on the show on Wednesday, man.
Yeah, and just, I'm just got to say it again. I'm proud of Monty Lee, and I'm happy he's home. This is a different version, but a similar story to Shane Beamer coming back to where he's supposed to be, and glad Monty's home. Gamecocks they're going to win from this.
All right. Thanks, Jamie.
See ya. Y'all have a good weekend.
Jamie Bradford jumping on kind of like that's kind of like an emergency segment, I guess. We got Chris Phillips coming up at the bottom of the hour. I'm sure he's got some takes on this as well. Wanted to also mention that I didn't mention at the top of the show. Hour number one's always presented by Cindy Searfoss Realtor, Caldwell Baker Kane in my hometown of Spartanburg, the upstate of South Carolina. Certainly appreciate her and appreciate all of you on the Nana's Porch chat box. So we'll catch up on the chat box here for a second. And forgive me for coughing because I still have a little bit of a cold. Corey says, is there an update on Lloyd and Bill Smith? Saw a picture with Lloyd having an ankle taped, and he's been missing. They're just trying to keep him upright, keep him off of it. It's not, from what he said and everybody else has said, it's not a huge deal. That said, I'm going to continue to maintain for you guys, the fans. I understand after what everybody's been through around here the last 10 years with injuries and not knowing exactly what the deal. I mean, last year I felt like I was a doctor and trying to like diagnose what exactly was a broken foot and what wasn't. So I'm not going to do that this year. I can just tell you what I've been hearing. And, I think obviously South Carolina's got depth at running back. And, if there's missed time, there's just missed time. It's part of the game. It's unfortunate. You got to stay healthy. And I hate it. I hate that we read Marshawn Lloyd's the one that's sitting and not practicing because he's just been through so much. Gamecock Pastor tunes in. He says, Pastors work Sunday through Thursday, so I can tune in live on Fridays. Happy to be here. Y'all are crushing it. That's I need to send him an Inside the Gamecocks t-shirt.
Give him some gear, yeah.
Daniel Watts says, what's going on, guys? What's up? I answered Craig's question. Clint says, happy Friday. Cartwright's like, hey. Brian says, morning, fellas. Good week for the Cox. It definitely was. Yes, Pastors, I love having JB back twice in 1 week. Let's go. Sully Nat comes in. Happy Friday. Looking good, guys, except JC's fro. Yeah, it's getting there.
It's rounding out.
Yeah, it's hopefully we're sitting here in November, Phil, and I look like, a goat herder.
Yeah, right.
I'd be happy.
I'm hoping so. Yeah.
Man, I'll take it all the way. Craig, Joey's Pancake House. North Augusta plays Dorman next week. Cartwright asked about Chad Terrell. Heard he was injured. We hadn't seen him out there. So I think that's probably
a safe assumption.
And I guess Beamer hadn't been in front of the media to answer questions about it, maybe. My man says, thanks for the podcast, gentlemen. Go Cox. Right back at you, Jay Jaffaller. Christian Bill Smith's in a boot. Yeah, and look, the boot, there's lots of guys in boots. Don't let the boot freak you out. I've seen guys in boots on Tuesday and they play 40 snaps on Saturday. That's precautionary. Again, I don't want to go be a mobile medical doctor this year and try to diagnose guys. Luke says, first time listening to the new show. I heard about it from JC being on the Daily Crow, the Spurs show. Yeah, thanks. I was on on Thursdays there, and we have Chris on here in about 5 minutes, and he's gonna be on probably every week with us.
every week, but we're going to move this segment around so it doesn't get, stagnant. We're going to have Mental Edge on Tuesdays, Bradford on Wednesdays, and then everybody else will be frequent, but it's going to be at different times and different days. And we got some blockbuster guests getting lined up for next week, so we're fired up about that. And Franklin says Bill Smith at a boot using one of those scooters on the photo gallery. Yeah, if it's an ankle, Franklin, they're going to have him in a boot on the scooter to stay off of it, because an ankle sprain, especially a high ankle sprain, here we go being a doctor again. A high ankle sprain, back during the Spurrier era, high ankle sprain, or even the Holtz era, I think a high ankle sprain basically caused Demetrius Summers, the 1 or 2 years he played, to not really be the same back, and it was a high ankle sprain the whole year. So that's the deal there. Yeah, so there we go. One more thing. Will King says, love the show, JC, but your Jaden Bradford news. That was only like negative news. The 2024 quarterback, Jaden Bradford, put in a crystal ball to Penn State for him. That's just kind of how it's shaking out right now. My understanding is it's not even so much about if Reno reclassifies or something like that. I guess that's just the ebb and flow of recruiting. I really kind of need to dig into it from a South Carolina standpoint, like what they think about that kid and all that. Cartwright says, are we all underestimating Amos? I feel like this guy's a lot like Brandon Wiles. That's a good comparison, Cartwright. Amos is a really good back. You put him in there. He says he's breaking tackles left and right, even in the practice film they released. Yeah, he's good. In 2020, when they had like 40 people on the team by the end of the year, Rashad got some carries, right? And he looked pretty good. And last year, we didn't know this. This was another one of those injuries we didn't know about till later. Everybody's kind of speculating. They're like, oh, is Amos going to transfer or whatever? They hit the portal, and no, he was just injured and kind of redshirted and played on got on the scout team at the end of the year and did really well. I think in the spring game too, Phil, Amos looked good.
Yeah, he definitely had his moments in the spring, and we've seen it before, like you said, in 2020. So that's why we keep hearing about Lloyd and CBS being out, but I mean, don't sleep. We still got Juju. We got Amos. Yeah, we got guys back there. We're gonna be okay. Yeah. Let them heal.
Yeah, certainly not wanting you guys to pull away from the show, but I think you can. Shane Beamer's gonna be on Feinbaum this afternoon. Is it now? He said in 30 minutes. Feinbaum on that early? I don't know. I haven't listened to Feinbaum.
He's doing a Twitter space.
Oh,
yeah. I caught that last night.
Gotcha. All right, going to take a break. Chris Phillips, Spurs Up Show, coming up on the other side of this break. Always good to catch up with Chris. Always high energy. We'll be back after these messages.
Just as your State Farm agent combines good neighbor service with surprisingly great rates, you can combine your home, auto, life, or small business insurance with Tony Pope State Farm Insurance today. And guess what you'll get? That's right, even more good neighbor service with surprisingly great rates. In fact, Tony Pope State Farm is your go-to agent anywhere in South Carolina, North Carolina, or Georgia for the service you deserve at the price you want. So try combining your home, life, auto, and or small business insurance today. Tony Pope State Farm has been in business for more than 30 years and can handle anything you need in the tri-state area. Once again, Tony Pope State Farm will help you mix and match perfectly. Call 843-851-2222 or visit TonyPope.com today. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
If you're a listener, I feel strongly that if you're in the upstate and are in need of real estate services, Cindy Searfoss is your go-to person. Searfoss of Caldwell Banker Kane can help you with any of your realty needs right there in the upstate of South Carolina, Greenville, Spartanburg, Anderson, Oconee, Pickens, wherever you are. Cindy can help you with that. She's married to a diehard Gamecock fan, has been in the upstate for more than 35 years. right there in my hometown of Spartanburg, Daniel Morgan Avenue. Contact Cindy, 864-414-5271, or email csearfoss, CSEARFOSS, at cbcaine.com, CBCAINE. That's Cindy Searfoss, a proud sponsor of the Inside the Gamecocks podcast. Check her out. We've already gotten several emails from listeners that are very impressed with her professionalism and her ability to help you with your real estate needs. 864-414-5271, Cindy Searfoss of Caldwell Banker Kane.
If you're looking to sell or buy multifamily property right here in South Carolina, the Burgesson team of RE/MAX at the Lake can help you get to closing fast and easy. Adam and Derek Burgesson both are very proud Gamecocks and are more than happy to assist you with any of your commercial real estate needs all across the state. You can email Adam at aburgesson@remax.net. That's ABERGESON at remax.net to get your next deal underway. The Burgesson team, proud sponsors of Inside the Gamecocks.
Family vacations, a new car, a new boat, all cost money, but you don't necessarily have to make more to afford any of that if you can save cash that's flying out the window now. iHelp Consulting can help you finally get the kids to Disney World, upgrade the minivan, or drop that new boat in the water next summer. Let Daniel and iHelp Consulting consult with you. No fees, just savings. You pay them a percentage of those savings. Save on essential services, credit card fees, you name it. Let them find it. These folks are incredible. iHelpConsulting.com. How can I help you?
Attention golfers of all ages and skill sets. Former Gamecock golfer Meredith Taylor will be a full-time golf instructor in the Midlands of South Carolina very, very soon. You want to take advantage of this opportunity. If you're like me and you got to get a whole lot better at golf, or even if you're looking to refine your swing, Meredith is the person you need to go to. She's competing in her final USGA Mid-Amateur Tournament this summer before going full-time into teaching and coaching individuals. If you're in South Carolina, Meredith will be conducting in-person golf lessons at the Country Club of Lexington, half-hour, hour, on course. She'll play 9 or 18 with you. If you're out of state, though, this is really exciting. She'll be conducting virtual lessons. You can send in your swing for her expert analysis. Also, in November, she'll launch an online course with video instruction for all ages and skill levels. Meredith has 20-plus years of knowledge, former SEC golfer, all of that. So contact her on Twitter at Taylor, at MERTAYLOR, or go to McKellarEnterprises.org. McKellar spelled MCKELLAR, Enterprises.org. Her email's on the website, so you can connect with her for any other questions. Go get your golf game in order. Take advantage of Meredith Taylor and her services.
All right.
Welcome back to Inside the Gamecocks, the show, hour one. Obviously, Cindy Searfoss, Caldwell Banker Kane, we're going to go out to, and you just heard the commercial for Meredith Taylor, McKellar Enterprises, the McKellar Enterprises guest line, and bring in for the second time here on the show, Chris Phillips from the Spurs Up Show. How's it going, man?
Phil, JC, what's up, man? Doing well. We're on the road right now. Obviously, not my normal setup. We had a great event last night at Carolina Ale House in Augusta, Georgia. So we're doing well, man. We're doing well, just getting after it. 2 weeks. It's crazy. 2 weeks from today, we'll be locking in predictions, or at least I'll be locking in my prediction for the Georgia State game, full breakdown, preview, all that good stuff. And, yeah, man, it's obviously the emotions and everything's really ratcheted up, starting to set in. Kickoff just around the corner. Heck, next weekend we got week 0. So I'm pumped. Hey, I'm pumped to watch Nebraska and Dublin and watch Vandy go to the island. I don't know about you guys, but I'm excited for some football, some real football.
One of my friends is on staff at Vandy, and I was like, how did you swing road trips to Hawaii and UNLV the next 2 years? You're like, Vegas.
Not too bad.
Yeah, that's
not a bad road trip.
We may not win, but we have a lot of good road trips at Vandy, I guess. But okay, so Chris, lots of news yesterday. Like it hit while we were on, it hit after we were on. After then I was on with you. I mean, it was just a barrage.
Crazy
of
Thursday.
Good news, I think. First, I want to get your reaction to the Monty Lee thing. It's kind of odd to have big baseball news this time of the year, but that's pretty significant. And I think it's fortunate for Mark Kingston that Monty was available, given that Chad Callet's decision to kind of step away from coaching and move back home.
Yeah, no, I think it was an awesome pickup and just crazy turn of events, right? With Chad stepping down and Monty obviously getting relieved of his duties at Clemson. And I'll tell you this, I was surprised that Monty did not have more success in Clemson. I mean, blame whatever his coaching style or just the recruiting or just whatever happened. It just didn't work out. But I've got a unique vantage point, guys, because I myself played baseball and I graduated class of 09 from North Augusta and then played in college. But I played with guys, a lot of guys that were recruited by Monty while he was at South Carolina. One of my really good buddies played for Monty at College of Charleston. And I tell you, the thing why I'm so happy that Monty is coming home, I mean, number one, obviously what he did for the Gamecocks 03 to 08, really assisting, being Ray Tanner's right-hand man and helping build those basher teams with Smoke, Havens, Darnell, Disher, Travis Jones. I mean, you think of all those great teams and setting up 10, 11, 12, right, for all that to happen. But everybody I ever talked to that knows Monty, that was recruited by him, that's played for him, they love him. I mean, they'll go to war for the guy. And that was my, not to turn this into a Mark Kingston conversation. We'll have plenty of that in the spring. But that was my biggest gripe is I was like, you know what, listen, I applauded Clemson for making a move because as much as I like Monty as a person, he didn't get the job done. But it was like Monty Lee's such a likable guy. Everybody you talk to adores him. So I think at first things first, he's going to do wonders in that locker room, bringing that team together. He's going to, I don't know how long he's going to be there. I don't know what the future of kind of baseball looks like, how long he's on staff. But if he's there for an extended period of time, it's going to immensely help recruiting. It's immensely going to help recruiting in the state, which is most important. And we've heard rumblings about that hasn't exactly been a strong suit over the last couple of years of Mark Kingston and the staff. So, a major plus, major addition. I know some folks in the upstate will chirp and say, you're taking our sloppy seconds. Was like, you took our sloppy seconds first. Like he's coming home. You know what I mean? He was a Gamecock. He was a Gamecock first. I mean, just call it what it is. He was a Gamecock first. So
yeah,
and that's funny coming from a fan base that has Brad Scott on their staff, right? I mean, that just
Brad Scott. I was gonna bring up Brad Scott, and that was a big deal. So. Yeah, I'm with you, Chris, and we had JB on earlier, and I think the consensus around the Carolina baseball community at large, and that's fans, people with connections like yourself and JB, and my guy John Whittle that covers it. Everybody is overwhelmingly positive.
Yeah, and should help on the hitting side of things too, just to take it back to on field. I mean, I know his Clemson teams didn't swing it great. But I think obviously this is a team that has struggled to hit over the last couple of years, and I think that'll be, of course, again, the number one focus going into the 2023 season, and Monty Lee should certainly assist there. So, just excited to have him back home, man. It's always cool when you can bring a guy back like that. And, again, it's just if he wasn't so universally liked, maybe it would be different. But, again, it's having the vantage point I have of guys that were recruited by him and played for him. And, I mean, I've never met somebody that had anything but glowing reviews of Monty Lee. So, yeah, I'm definitely excited he's back.
All right, so we had a lot of recruiting news rolled in yesterday, and it was not just the Xavier Mcleod commitment, which I think it's another 4-star in-state defensive line prospect. I call it D-line heaven for a reason because the Carolinas put out just crazy sick defensive linemen every year. Xavier's in. He was the first welcome home. So there's no mystery out there anymore. But, your take on that. And then after that, Nick Harbor sets an official visit. So you got that news. And then all of a sudden it looks like 4-star defensive lineman Xavier Hardy out of Georgia may be coming Carolina's way. And then Desmond, I call him Desmond U, 4-star defensive end from Baltimore. I guess it's Upper Marlboro, Maryland. I don't know exactly. My DMV suburbs are getting mixed up. It looks like some crystal balls are rolling in for the Gamecocks over Ohio State for that kid. So Carolina in the next before the season kicks off could beat Ohio State and Georgia head-to-head, back-to-back on 2 defensive linemen.
That's impressive. JC, what was the stat you gave me on the show yesterday about I think it was blue chip defensive linemen the Gamecocks have landed since 09 or 10 or something like that? Like
it was
crazy number.
I didn't go that far back. I went back to 19, so the last 5.
19, okay, 19.
Now, I could probably go back further, and it's probably still a high percentage, but 4-star or above in-state D linemen, there have been 8 of them since the class of 2019. Okay, and with Mcleod in, the Gamecocks have 6. So that's kind of that's kind of the deal there. So And the ones they lost, Justice Boone and Tieran Ingram Dawkins, were during the not only during the pandemic where they couldn't visit anywhere, but also during the coaching transition from Muschamp to Beamer, which you're going to lose guys.
Well, and JC, you mentioned it yesterday. I mean, obviously getting Mcleod, and I think most of us expected that, but the kid from Camden, just keeping a big-time guy like that at home, you know what I mean? He obviously could have went basically anywhere, and you saw his Final Four he came down to, some big-time schools. So I think it's always a victory, obviously, when you're keeping those type of guys home. I mean, like you mentioned, in the late 90s, early 2000s, we saw all those guys going to Tennessee and Georgia and Florida State. And so, I mean, I thought it was crazy hearing Marcus Lattimore on when Mike Uva was doing his podcast, hearing Lattimore say that he almost picked Auburn because top prospects didn't go to South Carolina. And it's just like, that was the narrative just forever. If you were really, really good, you didn't go to USC, right? So, obviously Beamer understands the importance of in-state recruiting, and anytime you have a guy like that in your backyard, like you mentioned Camden, just down the road, basically, you want to keep him at home. As far as the Nick Harbor thing, man, that's really interesting. I mean, dude, obviously you'd love to land it. I will say this because you mentioned all the prospects, and I mean, I've never doubted Shane Beamer on the recruiting trail. I feel like he's going to do everything right when it comes to recruiting, and obviously it's about creating or getting incremental wins and elevating the classes slowly but surely. But they are most certainly, when you look at the prospects, the final couple of guys, they're getting in the right living rooms. I feel like with the right guys you need. I love the fact Beamer's focusing obviously on line of scrimmage, getting these pass rushers, getting these offensive linemen in this class, because I look back at 10, 11, 12, 13. I mean, that was the biggest difference, bro. We had guys like Devin Taylor and Cliff Matthews and J.D. Clowney and Chaz Sutton, and the list just went, again, I've talked with Brad Long. He's like, Chris, we were 9, 10 deep. I mean, we could just rotate it. Like you mentioned, depth. We haven't had depth a lot of times. Like, that was the time in the history of Carolina football we had depth. And it showed. Every week it showed. We were able to get after the quarterback, stop the run, what have you. So, Nick Harbor, again, you get him on campus. You get him in the week for the Georgia game. Wish it wasn't a noon game, obviously. You mentioned what the heat will probably be like, which I tell you right now, it's kind of unseasonably cool. So if we could somehow, get this into early September, I doubt it. It'll probably be 105 degrees.
False fall.
Yeah, right. A false fall. That's it.
False fall.
That's it.
Chris, looking at this year, I mean, we're doing, obviously Beamer's doing really well, and I think we were talking with Michael Flint yesterday, and that Beamer's been able to successfully navigate the portal to shorten that curve, of rebuilding the program. And I think that really is going to reflect. But but through that, with all the portal additions that we've had this year, I think that Spencer Rattler, obviously is a key piece to that. But I think, and it's something I thought before, was the current players that we have on the roster are actually going to be elevated, and they're gonna surprise us, even though all these big names are coming in. Stogner. Obviously, everybody's going to help. It's a team effort. But who do you think is really going to kind of step up that's been on the team already from an offensive standpoint? We talk a lot about who's on defense going to come out and show up and all that, but where do you see the offense going with the players that were there last year?
Well, I think on the outside, Xavier Legette's obviously a guy we heard his name, and it's funny. I feel like there was 2-3 years in a row I picked Legette to be the breakout player, and it just never really happened. And you can blame multiple things, Muschamp, quarterback, to O-line play, what have you. So when I look at because I feel like this with the receivers, because again, we're going through right now breaking down all these position units. I feel like we all feel pretty solid about what Josh Van's going to give you. Antoine Wells is going to give you, even Corey Rucker. I mean, a bit of a mystery, but I feel confident he's going to be a contributor. But it's that group for me out of Jalen Brooks, Xavier Legette, Dak Joyner, and Amarian Brown. It's just like, all right, who's going to step up? Like, which one of these guys is going to make an impact? And so Legette, I think, is a guy certainly, JC talked on our show, you've been hearing a lot of great things about him over the summer and fall camp, and maybe he's finally ready to burst out. Not even be like a number one option, but just be a dependable week in, week out guy who can snag 3-4 balls, make an impact for you every now and then, you know what I'm saying? So at tight end, I've been talking about this guy all preseason. Obviously Bell and Stogg going to get the love. I love Trey Kenyon. I just love what I saw from him in the spring game.
He looked faster to me, Chris. He looked faster to you.
Yeah, I love and I just love the fact that Kenyon showed the willingness in the spring game to get out there in front of the runner, get out there in front of the ball carrier and put his body on the line. I can respect that. You know what I mean? He's like a team guy. He's not going to catch 40 passes this year or something crazy, hand in the dirt type dude that's just going to get dirty in the run game. And we need that. We need that, right? We need that type of guy. So I like Kenyon a lot on the offensive side too. other than that, I mean, I thought it was really interesting to hear that Lavassier Carroll was taking carries at RB1 with Beal Smith and Lloyd out. So maybe carries like last year's Aquandre White and just comes out of nowhere and is a big time player for us.
I'll tell you, don't count him out. That kid coming out of high school, I mean, he was ranked appropriately.
Five-star player. I mean,
really. He runs laser time 4.52. It's just a matter of getting back into the groove and running back after he played corner for Muschamp last year. And got a ring and then came to Carolina.
But to Phil's point, by the way, the most intriguing thing about all these position units when you talk running back, receiver, tight end, it's just what is the Rattler effect? Like how much does he impact positively? Like I look back thinking last year, Josh Vann had almost 700 receiving yards, 650, something like that. Jaheim Bell had just under 500 receiving yards. It's like how much better are they going to be with a guy that can actually, like, how many times, I'm not going to pretend like I've sat down and watched every pass play from a season ago, but it's like, how many times were there plays left out there that they were open that they just couldn't get the ball? You know what I mean? So, and how does Rattler change that? What is his impact? So, because I've been grading these position units, and it's like, this might be a whole letter grade higher if the guy under center lives up to his hype and expectations. So that's a really exciting part too.
And I saw you gave the receivers a B-, and I thought that was a fair grade because when I do grades like that, I'm usually like, well, you don't do it until you do it. Until you do. When it's just potential, you got to grade them on what you know and what you see. And you're right, it could go up to like an A- or whatever, especially. And there's a photo on the bigspur.com from the last open practice. John Whittle got it. Xavier Leggett is going up like he almost looked like Brian Edwards did in that catch he made against Tennessee a couple of years ago. And so I've been on the bandwagon for XL for a couple of years now. So I'm probably going to join you on that one. The Brooks, Leggett, Brown, a trio or whatever, they're all so different. They bring different things to the table. I think Brown needs to be a 9-route and go guy. Just get him open deep, busted, like I like Demir Bird. But the others are very intriguing. Joyner and all those guys bunched up together. Talking with Chris Phillips of the Spurs Up Show. He's with us every week. We move him around because we like a little variety here. I'm on the Spurs Up Show on Thursdays, right after we get off here, and certainly encourage all of you to tune in for all of Chris' episodes and all of our episodes. So, you kind of look at it. We got 2 weeks to go. Marcus Satterfield was met with the media, so Clayton White and Pete Limbo, but had a lot of interesting things to say about Rattler in terms of practice progression. And it was like he started off and said, well, he was good last week. He said, when we say he's not getting rid of the ball, it doesn't mean he's not good. He's really good. And then he's like, what was encouraging to me is Satterfield said, well, this week he's gotten even better. And so that's exciting to me because, a lot of times it's like, well, God, I hope this guy can go out and play in a couple of weeks, and you're kind of fingers crossed about the quarterback spot. But this, to me, Chris, it seemed like elite guy locking in to where he's peaking right there at the beginning of the year.
That's what it's all about. And I was just going to say, guys, is that, I'm not worried about what this team looks like when it plays its best game, right? I'm just worried about how quickly are we going to get to that point where we're playing damn near close to our best game. Like we need to come out of the gates hot. You know what I mean? Because, we were joking around. I was joking around with Tim Hill yesterday about like the hypothetical of Georgia State doing the unthinkable. But I mean, as you guys, we discussed, it's not one of those games where you can just roll your helmet out there. This isn't EIU again. We can't just go out there and, it's a spring game 2.0. Like Georgia State will come in motivated. Georgia State will come in with an expectation to win, bottom line. So it's about, not just winning in week one. Like a lot of this season, based off whatever you want to pick your prediction, but how South Carolina wins and loses games. And Georgia State's going to set the tone for Arkansas. I think Arkansas is going to set the tone for Georgia, and Georgia could set the tone for the rest of the year. So it's a really intriguing start to the season, of course. So, I love hearing that from Satterfield. Obviously, I think it's interesting hearing their practice comments. I think a lot of things this is just me talking from the outside. I would think as these coaches, you want to say things where it's like, you want to be encouraging, and every coach has different philosophies, but you want to be encouraging, but you also want to be challenging guys. Like, hey, never be complacent, never be satisfied, but also you don't just want to be, most people don't want to take like the Lou Holtz approach and be like, we just stink. You come to South Carolina because you're a loser, you're terrible. Like, interesting logic, coach. Interesting logic. But
Georgia State punt block team is
right.
Scrimmage.
Yeah, you'd kind of like to be more in the middle. But yeah, so no, it's great to hear about Rattler, and obviously you hope that he's as close to playing his best game. That offense is as close to clicking on all cylinders. Obviously, this is a football team that's going to get better from week 1 to week 13 or what have you. But how quickly can they get to playing their best game or close to it? Because again, you could argue that in weeks 2 and 3. They're going to need to play high-quality football to win. Bottom line, I don't see either one of those games as games where they're going to be able to go in and Arkansas is just going to hand them the game. Arkansas is going to play their worst game in their SEC opener at home. Georgia is going to come in as the defending national champions in their SEC opener and just lay an egg. You know what I mean? I don't really see that being the case. If Carolina wins one of those two or both, it'll be because they went out, executed, and beat the opponent. So, but it's definitely encouraging to hear, man. And like I said, it'll be really, just really intriguing and really fun to watch on September the 3rd.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Now, what do you do the night before football season starts? Because are you one of those guys that's like Christmas when you're a kid, you can't sleep? Or, I guess it's a little different now because there are games Thursdays and Friday nights. Like, but back in the day when it just all of a sudden you woke up one Saturday and the cartoons goes off, football's on. I had trouble sleeping. I'll just be honest. I would always, honest to God, I still do to this day. Before the infamous 2019 North Carolina game in Charlotte, I was living in Atlanta, right? So and we sponsored these watch parties at a place called Dive Bar, and I was so excited. I stayed up the whole night, and then rolled over there at about at 3:30 whatever the game started, and probably had to be carried. I had to get in the bed pretty early that night, because of it. But so what's your kind of when you're leading up to that game day, it's Chris Phillips.
Yeah, obviously the adrenaline's pumping. It's funny though. I will hot take. I will say I don't have a ton of trouble sleeping because we stay getting after it so hard the week leading up to the game that I'm like, now it's time to rest a little bit. It's funny, man. I've always, but I am the same way, man. It's always, it's like this surreal feeling when game day gets here. It's like we have been previewing and dissecting and just breaking it down every way you can for so long. And for game day, when it's finally game, you're like, oh my God, it's actually here. Like I didn't feel like, I almost felt like we actually weren't going to get here. It was just going to be the preseason forever. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's a surreal feeling for sure. But man, I've always looked at game day as like, this is the reward. We put in and I guess the players look at it that way too, right? But in a content creator space, you look at it as, we put in all this work during the week, breaking it down, previewing, doing interviews, having guests, and we love doing that. But game day is the time to enjoy. Like, here it is, right? We get to enjoy the game. We get to take it in. This is what we've been looking forward to all week long, all preseason. So for me, the night before the game, a little bit of some of it depends on when kickoff is, so obviously, and now I live out of town. So like Georgia game, for example, that being a noon kickoff, I'll head down there the night before, stay the night, and we'll wake up bright and early, and we'll get out to the TSUS tailgate at Seawells. Everybody come out. You're more than welcome. And then for the road games, we're throwing watch parties at all the Carolina Ale House locations. So I'm either at Willie B or at Carolina Ale House for every game. But it's a blast, man. It's a lot of fun. I really enjoy it. But no, certainly. This September the 2nd, I will be laying in bed a bit restless because I'm sitting here right now. We're ready, man. I'm ready.
I'm glad it's a night game in a lot of ways because I can kind of get in the groove of watching ball, and you got that anticipation. I love it. Like when Carolina's got a night game, it's like the halftime of that mid-afternoon SEC network game or CBS or wherever, and it's coming up, and all that good stuff. I have a little brunch when it's a night game. Me and the missus go to a little brunch, and then we get ready. We do it up right.
I always wake up, cut on Sandstorm, cut on Patrick Davis, just a big old cock. I listen to that every game. It's just it's awesome, man.
A buddy of mine, when I lived in Greenville, we loved game days. They were second. He's a Tennessee fan, so we played a little Kenny Chesney and Patrick Davis out on the porch. We were. It was our neighbors hated us, but that's just kind of how it goes sometimes. So Chris, just kind of looking. I guess this will be the final scrimmage, really the final full scrimmage. They'll have like a half scrimmage that comes up. What are you, besides obviously, hopefully some of these guys get healthy? What are you looking to hear out of the final scrimmage here? I'm kind of looking for the offense to be crisp and the word touchdowns kind of come to mind.
Yeah, for sure. You want to hear, obviously, the defense. Defense won the first scrimmage, I guess we could say. Defense was ahead of the offense, if you will. Definitely more from the offense. I mean, I try to, and I'm sure you guys would agree, I try to not look too deep into what they're going to say after the scrimmage. They're going to tell us exactly what they want to tell us. This is great for the coaches and for the staff, for the players to learn a lot about themselves and what this football team is going to look like and who they can count on a week-in, week-out basis. Are we really going to learn anything? No, but I would say, obviously, coming out of it injury-free, you would like some of the guys that did not play last weekend, get them some reps. I mean, certainly a guy like Josh Vann, right? He knows what he's doing, but just to be in the flow of the game and be in the offense and get your timing down and get your rhythm. So definitely the point you made. I just want to hear the offense was crisp. No stupid penalties, no false starts or anything like. You want to hear the offense is making positive progression to being in a rhythm, being in flow. That doesn't mean we want to hear the defense was terrible or anything, but again, it's a balance, right? That's the tough thing about fall camp and even spring ball. When you're just hitting each other, it's like if the offense has a good day, well, what do the defense do? Defense has a good day, well, what do the offense do? So it's a bit of a balancing act there again. But I mean, priority number one, obviously, just come out with no injuries and, like you mentioned, touchdowns. Red zone, would love to hear some improved things on the red zone, and because obviously that's a huge facet of the game. But other than that, again, come out of it injury free and I think we'll be good to go.
Yeah, I think so too. Injury free. That's a Steve Spurrier always said it.
Priority number one. Come out of it injury free.
Nobody got hurt, so we're good. We're good. Let's go. Chris, another great episode or segment. I called it an episode. It's a segment. Episode 2 of Chris Phillips on the Inside the Gamecocks, the show. Really appreciate you, man. Going to have you on back next week. Looking forward to my conversation with you next Thursday on the Spurs Up Show. As always, you brought the energy. You brought the thunder. We appreciate it. And I think all of our listeners out there, and there's the numbers spiked when you came up, by the way. They're pretty fired up with you.
JC, Phil, I appreciate it, man. It's always a pleasure. JC, obviously looking forward to having you on a weekly basis. And Phil, it's always a pleasure to see your gorgeous face, my friend.
Oh, thank you.
All right. Hey, y'all take care. We'll do it again next week.
Take care, Chris. Chris Phillips, Spurs Up Show. Man, it's not just the energy. I find his takes are really good and all that. Not that I'm surprised by that. I mean, I'm not trying to say that surprises me, but I think he makes a great point about the injuries and not being able to tell anything from a scrimmage, because it's like college football, right? I mean, you don't. We've talked about no preseason. I'd love to see him go like scrimmage Wofford. Could you imagine the South Carolina Gamecocks coming up to Wofford and scrimmaging them over there, and if they lost?
Yeah, I was just about to say, and that's why lose. Yeah,
that's why they don't do it. They talk all this stuff about player safety and stuff. That's not it, man. It's actually less safe to go and just play games and never scrimmage. Right, because it's a different type of competition, so it's less safe to not prepare. It's because coaches would lose scrimmages and get fired. Because you'd have to scrimmage like little guys, and make it, worth the while or whatever. Because you're not going to get any big schools scrimmage big schools, most likely. And it's because, like Brian Harsin at Auburn, like if Auburn scrimmaged Samford, and in a scrimmage, it's not even like an exhibition game in the NFL. You're basically just running plays against, your ones against their ones. And then you may even have two different fields going at the same time. But lo and behold, they'd keep score. Somebody'd be in the stands keeping score, and
it would leak out. Yeah,
and they'd be like, some Auburn fan, like, y'all lost to Samford in a scrimmage.
Yeah, the next thing you know, you only got half a stadium for your home opener.
Yellow guy got his checkbook out, and you're fired. for losing the scrimmage. That's why coaches don't want to do it, because they know that there's a reason you don't keep scoring football scrimmage. So that's it. All right, hour number 1 in the books. Brought to you by Cindy Searfoss. We got to tend to our chat box a little bit, Phil. We
do have to clean that up here.
Is, crazy. And so we need to talk to some of these people at the top of the hour. Meredith Taylor, former Gamecock golfer, is going to join us to talk about golf, football, the Gamecocks. Had her scheduled last week. She's going to be on every Friday with us, and obviously she's a sponsor of the Inside the Gamecocks, the show. Sponsors our guest line, McKellarEnterprises.org. You'll hear the commercial. And if you're like me and need really a lot of help with golf, she's your person. She's your person. And she joins us at the bottom of the second hour. Inside the Gamecocks, the show. Back after these messages. If you're a listener, you know I feel strongly that if you're in the upstate and are in need of real estate services, Cindy Searfoss is your go-to person. Searfoss of Caldwell Banker Kane can help you with any of your realty needs right there in the upstate of South Carolina, Greenville, Spartanburg, Anderson, Oconee, Pickens, wherever you are. Cindy can help you with that. She's married to a diehard Gamecock fan, has been in the upstate for more than 35 years. Right there in my hometown of Spartanburg, Daniel Morgan Avenue. Contact Cindy, 864-414-5271, or email csearfoss, CSEARFOSS, at cbcaine.com, CBCAINE. That's Cindy Searfoss, a proud sponsor of the Inside the Gamecocks podcast. Check her out. We've already gotten several emails from listeners that are very impressed with her professionalism and her ability to help you with your real estate needs. 864-414-5271, Cindy Searfoss of Caldwell Banker Kane.
If you're looking to sell or buy multifamily property right here in South Carolina, the Burgesson team of RE/MAX at the Lake can help you get to closing fast and easy. Adam and Derek Burgesson both are very proud Gamecocks and are more than happy to assist you with any of your commercial real estate needs all across the state. You can email Adam at aburgesson@remax.net. That's ABERGESON at remax.net to get your next deal underway. The Burgesson team, proud sponsors of Inside the Gamecocks.
Hey man, are you sick and tired of your business computer guy?
Yes, he takes forever to call me back and doesn't always respond to the requests.
Yeah, same here. I'm paying him good money. I constantly have issues, and I'm worried he's not backing up my network and securing it properly.
Oh, I feel that, man. My head hurts, but I have a good lead on a good idea. I'm calling your boy Matthew Odom today from Heritage Digital. Heritage Digital is an IT firm that specializes in making sure your IT network runs like a dream. If you have 1 or 500 employees, it doesn't matter. They do it all for one monthly fee and have clients from South Carolina all the way to California.
Yeah, I heard that monthly fee's low too, so I don't know why I didn't even think of that. Do you have 843-699-1001 as Matt's contact number?
Yeah, man, I sure do that. Or you can go to heritagedigital.com.
Man, I hear they do a no-cost assessment. Boy, this will help me.
Yeah, I bet.
I'm getting on that and encouraging everyone else to do the same. Heritage Digital, 843-699-1001 or heritagedigital.com, a proud sponsor of Inside the Gamecocks, the show.
Family vacations, a new car, a new boat, all cost money, but you don't necessarily have to make more to afford any of that if you can save cash that's flying out the window now. iHelp Consulting can help you finally get the kids to Disney World, upgrade the minivan, or drop that new boat in the water next summer. Let Daniel and iHelp Consulting consult with you. No fees, just savings. You pay them a percentage of those savings. Save on essential services, credit card fees, you name it. Let them find it. These folks are incredible. iHelpConsulting.com. How can I help you?
Let's say you need catering, you need a food truck, you just need to get some delicious food to feed some people. Nana's Porch is the place for you. I've known Chris, the owner, for years now. They helped with the Big Spur Golf Tournament, catering it. It was delicious. I highly encourage you to go visit nanasporch.com. That's nanasporch.com right now to take a look at their services, their menu items, everything you may need for your event, the professionalism, the food, the taste. It's unrivaled.
in this space. 336-259-7550 is the phone number. Or again, go to nanasporch.com. We talk about them all the time. They sponsor the chat line here on the podcast, but wanted to tell you about it right here, straight from JC. Tell them JC sent you, and please support this Gamecock-owned and operated business. Also a proud sponsor of Inside the Gamecocks, the show. Have we returned, Phil?
We have arrived.
We're back. We're back on the mothership. What if we had like a George Clinton themed show? And we're like, hey, groovy folks, welcome back to the mothership. I'm JC Sherbert, Inside the Gamecocks podcast. This is Philly Phil right here, taking you through lots of Gamecock talk. Groovy kids. This one's, we just played 60s records. And all we just did it for like a week and didn't tell anybody. And the fans would just like peel off. They're like, done with it. Hey, I'm out. Anyway, Nana's Porch chat box is overflowing. Cartwright had that thing about Amos. That's where we left off. Noah says, time frame for a Xavier and Hardy decision. My understanding is it's going to be probably before the season starts. Don't tattoo me if that doesn't happen, because I don't think an exact date has been set. But if you want a time frame, I think that's kind of it. Jafaller says, I feel like having Kitchens on staff. It's Freddie Kitchens, the former Cleveland Browns head coach, who is now a senior offensive analyst or senior analyst at South Carolina. He's been friends with Shane Beamer for a long, long time. Those guys go way back. He says he feels like having Kitchens on staff is going to play dividends, pay big time, pay dividends, play dividends. Am I reading that right? Pay dividends, big time. Now, I reported a little bit of this in my Spur Notes column on thebigspur.com this week, that he has indeed made a very good impact. And I want to be clear, because I don't want it to be a situation where people think, well, look, if Marcus Satterfield's not getting it done, Freddie Kitchens is sitting right there waiting to take his job. That's not something Shane Beamer would ever do, because that can ruin your staff. I mean, nobody can work in a situation where you've got your replacement looking over your shoulder. And same thing with the baseball situation with Monty Lee. I think that, Mark Kingston, and as Jamie alluded to earlier, he has to be comfortable with it, because first time they lose a game, fire him. Put Monty out. No. Money needs to be on. Put money in. Let's activate money. And so I want to be clear that it's not like that. But what an analyst does is, and Kirby Smart said this, I think, best when he said they coach the coaches. They coach the coaches. Will Muschamp last year, before the staff shakeup, and he got back on the field after they had a coach take a leave of absence, he was an analyst at Georgia. And my understanding is he made a pretty big doggone impact on that crazy good defense last year. Of course, he had players. Better players will make you a better coach. But Muschamp did a great job for my Georgia folks, according to that. And so that's similar to what Kitchens' role is to sit there and analyze, self-scout, coach the coaches.
I was happy when he came on board, because it was like, what's wrong with another pair of experienced eyes?
Oh, no doubt. And I think actually having that head coach pro experience, having formulated game plans in that league week to week where it's tough. Now, I'll say this: it's college ball. It's not pros. You can't be overly complex like you are up there, because there's not enough practice time during the week. But I think self-scouting, looking at what works, looking at how people are stopping you, looking at how people are playing you, what they're having success with, what you can do to counter it, all those things go into coaching and game planning and stuff like that. So I think Freddie Kitchens, having a guy that's had that level of experience, is always positive. Gamecock Pastor says, I was restocking diapers for my daughter, but say I heard something about a T-shirt. Ha ha. Let me know if I need to email an address.
if I had them for free to give out, I would. I have magnets. I don't have. I only printed 2 T-shirts, one for me, one for Phil. But my fiance is working up something that I think you guys may like. If the Gamecocks win and my hair continues to grow.
Gamecock scrunchies?
No, good idea, Phil. No, it's I will wait and see. I don't want to jinx it because like I said, I don't really care about my hair. I just
right, yeah.
I'd like to see win. I'd like to see some wins for a change, man.
Watch some wins.
Oh gosh, I can't believe it. Alexa turns on sometimes, picks up our conversations. Ryan says, how much do the Gamecocks match up against the rest of the SEC by position group? Just curious, y'all's opinion on it. Seems like we have pretty good talent or age or experience at most groups. Like your question earlier, Phil, about the players returning, I think those are important parts along with the newcomers. Without having seen the rest of the SEC yet and just sort of glancing at their personnel, I'd say South Carolina talent level wise is middle of the pack in the league if you just go off talent. But if you throw in the fact that there's a lot of veterans, a lot of experience on this roster, it may be a little bit better, because you'll have like Texas A&M, for example. If you're just going off raw talent, their defense may probably will have more future, should theoretically have more future NFL guys on it than, anybody outside of Bama or Georgia. But they're going to be, they lost all of their D linemen from last year. So they're going to, and they brought in all these 5-stars, right? But they're going to be young. And a young guy at D line against a grown man in the middle, grown man strength, man. That kid's probably going to play in the NFL one day, and the grown man on the inside may not. But the grown man's going to get him, and so that's kind of the interesting part, and why, deep down inside, I'm probably more bullish on this season than I'm letting on, is because of that age and experience and all that, and the mix of young and old players, and I like the roster a lot.
Yeah,
some of these guys need to play. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say position group wise. I think the tight ends are probably top 2. Preseason, we could look at it that way. But it's hard to call it before you see the product on the field. Like to your point, it was like you got to see it. You're going to have to play. Like our D line should be good. Really good, but it hasn't shown it yet. Other than bits and pieces and flashes. So it was like you just let's play a few games and then kind of size it up. But you never know.
I like the Gamecocks defensive backs, especially the trio of Rush and Dial and Cam Smith. And Cam obviously has gotten all the offseason accolades, but man, don't sleep on Woodruff, South Carolina product, Spartanburg County, Marcellus Dial, or Darius Rush, who is developed into an NFL radar corner.
Right.
Amazingly. Nobody thought this guy was ever going to play. And look at him. Look at you. So I like that group. Offensive line has probably as much experience as anybody in the league, and I'm sorry for that banging. My mic stand is shaking for some reason. So they have as much experience as anybody in the league, and we'll see how they do. And tight end group is good, and some people I've noticed have kind of ranked the Gamecocks receivers low. I don't think they're going to be bottom of the league. I would have done probably they were last year, probably definitely the year before. But that's it. So talent just on paper, I think this group is middle of the pack. But I'll tell you this. If you're just talking about talent, Spurs teams that won 11 games, just talent-wise, probably 5th, 6th in the league.
Right, yeah.
Even with all those guys that played in the NFL and were good players. Okay. Yeah, Mark responds to Jeff Fowler, crazy, nobody's talking about Kitchens. Yeah, I mentioned it the other day, but you're right. That was a good staff addition, and a lot of people around the building are saying it. Kirk Mason says, Crazy it took David Gutshall to retire for a District 6, that's Dorman kid, to become a Gamecock. Yeah, Kirk, I don't know, man, if that's if it was Gutshall. I don't know. David Gutshall took that job in the 90s. He was from Burlington, North Carolina. I think he's in North Carolina. Maybe Tar. I don't know if he's a Tar Heel, but he's got North. I don't think he's a Clemson guy. And I don't know that it was Gutshall. Dorman's such a big operation. They probably had other people that were, handling all that. I'll say this though. I have a lot of respect for Gutshall, and you do note the timing, Kirk. So, that you're right. I mean, what you say is true. Gutshall retired, and all of a sudden, top 100 offensive lineman from Paul M. Dorman High School, Spartanburg, Roebuck, South Carolina.
That's
Roebuck, Walnut Grove Plantation, baby. And it becomes a Gamecock. So Queasy says, Monty Lee is the Mike Bobo of baseball. That's one way to look at it.
Well, he posted around a little later, and he was like, "No, the Brad Scott."
Monty Lee is the Brad Scott of college baseball. Well, keep in mind, Brad Scott was at Clemson for like 15 years, and they built a national championship winner.
That's right.
I mean, terrible head coach, but not bad at his job. Old Brad up there, painting the Gamecocks' ass over the years, right?
Right.
And so, Craig says, anybody going to the kickoff party at Still Hands Brewery tomorrow night? That's it's a competing website kickoff party. I won't hell, they wouldn't mention the Big Spur if it was the Big Spur kickoff party. But I do want to say some of the sponsors and the people that are playing. Michael Haney's playing at that. He's a good friend of mine, of course, Patrick Davis. So I will encourage you, without mentioning their website, if you're in Columbia and you want to go have some fun and support some people that I really care about and like, and the Gamecocks, go to the kickoff party. There's no competing kickoff party. I mean, I'm going to be cutting my future in-laws' grass this weekend if it doesn't rain, which is supposed to. So Craig, that's all good. See what a good guy I am. Mark Regal. I know everybody is on the O-line. I myself think the O-line play was overblown last year. That's an interesting point. I thought they had their moments. I thought they looked confused. There are times they got physically beat individually, but that's going to happen in this league. I think the games that the line, different results in different games for that spot had different sort of. It wasn't just always them. Different reasons that those things happen. So hopefully they come together. I mean, there's a lot of them there that this is their last year, like they're 5th and 6th year guys, grown men. Yeah. Craig says he bets Clemson would take Chad Holt as an assistant. You think? Cartwright says, I'm loving the unity. Gamecock podcasters, news people, fans here. There was a time when a lot of us would have gotten along or talk. Chris and I have had our fair share of arguments. Yeah, man, I'll tell you this. It's I like dealing, in this venue, and obviously the website business is competitive, right? But in this, the show and the podcasting and sort of what I call the Gamecock audio ecosystem, we all work together, and stuff like that, and cheer for each other. And I just think that all makes a better product. Now, everybody loves a little drama, right? Oh, this guy's slinging poop on Twitter, this guy, and all that. Everybody loves that, right? But in a lot of ways, sometimes it's like professional wrestling. I mean, I went on the Spurs Up show yesterday, and there's a blown up picture of my face. Yeah, literally, I look like I'm just yelling at somebody, red faced, talking about Kentucky's a fraud,
Fraud.
And I started to feel bad about it because I'm not like a shock jock, hot take artist, that goes and yells on shows. But I will get fired up, right? And so I'm sitting there and I felt bad. I was like, man, was that a little off brand for me, maybe? And then I was like, nah, screw it, man. It's like this stuff's like professional wrestling.
Right? Yeah.
People, you're just out there. Sometimes it's good to say it's so hard for me. Just sit here. Somebody owe money. Kentucky's a fraud. Woo! You're right, Cartwright. And it's been a pleasure having Chris on, JB. We're going to talk to Meredith Taylor, and she's really, really good here at the bottom of the hour. Anybody in the Gamecock, Keith Alsop, Gamecock ecosystem is fine by us. Xavier says, I work Monday through Thursday, so I'm finally getting to listen live. Go Cox from Wenatchee, Washington. Woo! Wenatchee. I just had a Pulp Fiction flashback, but that's Wenatchee.
Wenatchee, yeah.
Remember, he was like, he gave it to a gunner named Wenatchee. Christopher Walken. That was a hell of a cameo. This young man. Not today, I give it to you. He died of dysentery. Also says the next Amos takes a step. Belmont says, I met Coach Holtz in person at a campus pep rally, spring 99. He said to a student, Phil Horseshoe, we'll be lucky to win one game in 1999. And they won 0.
I was going to say that, and he was right.
0. Chase says, any intel on Aiden Williams? I don't think Carolina's getting him. That's my only intel on him. Quasi says, I was at the UNC game. I booed Muschamp for trying a field goal on 4th and 1. He heard me. Yeah, that was a light crowd at that one for us on TV, too. It gave me his death stare. That Muschamp death stare is crazy. Quasi says, Chris's fire Muschamp take was iconic and a bit prophetic at the time, I would say. And Mark says, I have a question for Phil. Are you any kin to Mo and Tommy Mullinax? Tommy was a professional golfer. I'll let you read.
Golfer? Yeah, professional golfer known for his insane trick shots, both great men and truly two characters. Not that I know of, but there's a lot of Mullinaxes up here, and a lot of us don't claim each other, so maybe. Not that I know.
I'm the Phil Mullinaxes. Narrows it down there. But anyway, yeah. So we appreciate all you guys that are on the Nana's Porch chat box. It's always a lot of fun. It keeps everything going. Meredith Taylor coming up bottom of the hour to talk Gamecocks and golf. And I'm going to say this before she comes on. She's going to kind of carry the golf conversation, right?
Yes.
I'm not good at any of it. It's not my sport. I'm getting older, so I think at some point I'm getting back into it, right, Phil? And all that. But right now, I'm not. I haven't played in 20 years. So just
my experiences,
just listen to Meredith. Don't listen to me. Don't listen. I haven't. I'm assuming Phil hadn't played in a while, so I'm like, listen to her on all of that. So we can't wait to have her coming up. Also, this hour sponsored by the Bergerson team at Remax at the Lake. You've heard the commercial. If you're interested in multifamily housing, any kind of projects from around the state, commercially, please give the Bergerson team a shout. They are great professionals and proud sponsors of the Inside the Gamecocks, the show, or Inside the Gamecocks podcast, whatever. So we also have what?
Did we throw up a poll question today?
We did, and I didn't mention it. Poof. God. Daggum Jamie Bradford coming in and talking about
we totally we caught that first hour on the fly. So
by the way, Big Slamma Jamma has a question that's probably going to become a poll question next week. And I'll get to that in a second. I do want to mention the actual poll question. I put it up on thebigspur.com, also on Twitter. Very simple. Another stat one today, over under on 7.5 total touchdowns for Jaheim Bell in 2022. He had 5 last year. One was, and I think 2 rushing ones were called back. So I went over, Phil.
Over 7, yeah, I think that's a safe bet. I think so.
I went over, and it looks like the people agree with me. 78% say over, 21% say under. Obviously that's on the Big Spur. That's a little tougher crowd than Twitter. For some reason, it's just a little bit more, they're a little bit more skeptical on the Big Spur than they are on Twitter. And I think it's significantly over on the poll on Twitter that we put up earlier. And yeah, we put that up every day, both on the Big Spur and for our Twitter audience. And if you look at the YouTube channel, we'll have a case. Sometimes I'll put the poll up there. Sometimes I won't. Sometimes I'll just put a poll specifically for that and all that good stuff if you're interested in checking that out. We have the iHelp Consulting mailbag. Gonna go here, and oh my God, Belmont sent a life champion belt. I wonder if can we get that up and show it to people?
Oh,
maybe not.
Hold on, is it on Twitter?
Yeah, or no, it's in the iHelp Consulting mailbag. VJ sent it in. Anyway, it's funny, but he says, JC and Phil, I haven't been able to listen to most days, but I'm really enjoying the pod replays. And that's right. You can always get the show in podcast format. It's up within the hour. And so you can listen to it anytime you want. You don't have to catch the stream to catch the show. You have to catch the show to catch the stream. He says, I've been enjoying the pod replays, and you guys are really starting to hit your stride on the comedic element. Keep the Spurrier impressions coming. I'd officially like to present Inside the Gamecocks, the show with its very first award for excellence in entertainment and life. And keep on keeping on. And it's a life champion belt. It's sharp, man. I'd like to get one.
Oh, let's see.
A life champion belt.
I'm in there now.
Let's see if you can put it up. But thanks, VJ, for that. VJ's been a long time listener of mine. It's certainly a great guy. Belmont. We call him Belmont. We call him VJ and all that good stuff. Nana's Porch chat line. Craig brings up a good point, Phil. You folks on the chat line, if you have questions for Meredith about golf or anything, please put them in. I'm kind of begging. All right, there's the life champion.
Life champion.
Look at that, man. Look how I look a little younger in that.
You look a lot younger on that. Yeah.
I was 40 or 42, I think. I'm a man. 40. I'm after me. I'm a man. I'm 40. But so that's happening there. But that's a beautiful look with that life champion belt. And for those of you that are just listening audio wise, we'll put this up on the Inside the Gamecocks Instagram account Inside the Gamecocks. So be sure to go check that out. I'll also tweet it out to all you folks and put it on Facebook. And guess what, Phil? Bottom of the hour, and it's time for Meredith. And Meredith's in the Nana Sports chat line, and she's talking. But please get your golf questions ready, or questions about the Gamecocks, her career. We're going to talk about a lot of good stuff that's been going on with Meredith Taylor. Of course, show got canceled last week because of the power outage, so she's making her debut here on Inside the Gamecocks. The show here shortly. We'll be back after these messages.
That's what I get for showing that picture of the belt up there.
If you're looking to sell or buy multifamily property right here in South Carolina, the Burgesson team of RE/MAX at the Lake can help you get to closing fast and easy. Adam and Derek Burgesson both are very proud Gamecocks and are more than happy to assist you with any of your commercial real estate needs all across the state. You can email Adam at aburgesson@remax.net. That's ABERGESON@remax.net to get your next deal underway. The Burgesson team, proud sponsors of Inside the Gamecocks.
Attention golfers of all ages and skill sets. Former Gamecock golfer Meredith Taylor will be a full-time golf instructor in the Midlands of South Carolina very, very soon. You want to take advantage of this opportunity. If you're like me and you got to get a whole lot better at golf, or even if you're looking to refine your swing, Meredith is the person you need to go to. She's competing in her final USGA Mid-Amateur Tournament this summer before going full-time into teaching and coaching individuals. If you're in South Carolina, Meredith will be conducting in-person golf lessons at the Country Club of Lexington. Half hour, hour on course. She'll play 9 or 18 with you. If you're out of state, though, this is really exciting. She'll be conducting virtual lessons. You can send in your swing for her expert analysis. Also, in November, she'll launch an online course with video instruction for all ages and skill levels. Meredith has 20 plus years of knowledge, former SEC golfer, all of that. So contact her on Twitter at Taylor, at MERTAYLOR, or go to McKellarEnterprises.org. McKellar spelled MCKELLAR, Enterprises.org. Her email's on the website, so you can connect with her for any other questions. Go get your golf game in order. Take advantage of Meredith Taylor and her services.
Family vacations, a new car, a new boat, all cost money, but you don't necessarily have to make more to afford any of that if you can save cash that's flying out the window now. iHelp Consulting can help you finally get the kids to Disney World, upgrade the minivan, or drop that new boat in the water next summer. Let Daniel and iHelp Consulting consult with you. No fees, just savings. You pay them a percentage of those savings. Save on essential services, credit card fees, you name it. Let them find it. These folks are incredible. iHelpConsulting.com. How can I help you?
Let's say you need catering, you need a food truck, you just need to get some delicious food to feed some people. Nana's Porch is the place for you. I've known Chris, the owner, for years now. They helped with the Big Spur Golf Tournament, catering it. It was delicious. I highly encourage you to go visit nanasporch.com. That's nanasporch.com right now to take a look at their services, their menu items, everything you may need for your event, the professionalism, the food, the taste. It's unrivaled in this space. 336-259-7550 is the phone number. Or again, go to nanasporch.com. We talk about them all the time. They sponsor the chat line here on the podcast, but wanted to tell you about it right here, straight from JC. Tell them JC sent you, and please support this Gamecock-owned and operated business. Also a proud sponsor of Inside the Gamecocks, the show. Hey, man, are you sick and tired of your business computer guy?
Yes, he takes forever to call me back and doesn't always respond to the requests.
Yeah, same here. I'm paying him good money. I constantly have issues, and I'm worried he's not backing up my network and securing it properly.
Oh, I feel that, man. My head hurts, but I have a good lead on a good idea. I'm calling your boy Matthew Odom today from Heritage Digital. Heritage Digital is an IT firm that specializes in making sure your IT network runs like a dream. If you have 1 or 500 employees, it doesn't matter. They do it all for one monthly fee and have clients from South Carolina all the way to California.
Yeah, I heard that monthly fee's low too, so I don't know why I didn't even think of that. Do you have 843-699-1001 as Matt's contact number?
Yeah, man, I sure do that. Or you can go to heritagedigital.com.
Man, I hear they do a no-cost assessment. Boy, this will help me.
Yeah, I bet.
I'm getting on that and encouraging everyone else to do the same. Heritage Digital, 843-699-1001 or heritagedigital.com, a proud sponsor of Inside the Gamecocks, the show.
All right, welcome back, everybody. What happened to Meredith? She was there.
Oh,
I'm coming in.
There she is.
What's up?
What's up? I want to welcome in Meredith Taylor to Inside the Gamecocks, the show, former Gamecock golfer. Obviously, you've heard the commercials. I keep joking about how bad I am at golf, but I'm sure.
When are we going to get you on the golf course?
I just have no idea.
Come on, JC.
I need to get on it because my buddies are in Illinois, in the neighborhood I live up in Illinois. They're all in their 70s, right?
Right.
Me and the lady, up north you have neighborhood bars because it's cold, so people don't congregate outside a whole lot. And so everybody's in their 70s and they all go and play during the 3 months the weather's warm. And I feel bad because I'm like not in my 70s and I can't even pick up the club. So
we're gonna fix that. Don't worry.
We gotta fix it. So obviously, so take us through what exactly has been going on with your playing and now transitioning into teaching. And all of that good stuff. Just give everybody kind of an update
sure.
on where things are at with Meredith Taylor.
Of course. Well, thank you for having me on the show. First of all, I love the show. And hello, Gamecock Nation. I see everybody in the Nana's porch chat line, talking about the golf courses. But yeah, it's going to be great. I am finishing up, obviously I can't turn pro just yet because I'm going to play a couple amateur tournaments, and that'll kind of finalize the quote unquote amateur career. So I played last year with my big brother. We won the mixed championship here in South Carolina. And so that'll be kind of special as kind of my one of my final events as an amateur to play with my big brother. And we'll defend that championship in October. And coming up in a week, I'll have my final USGA event, which is the USGA Women's Mid Amateur. Who knows if I can qualify, but I'm like, why not? Let's give it one more shot, and see if we can qualify for that. And if I do qualify, that's down in Florida in September. So a couple more months of my playing days before I go full time into teaching and coaching. And so I'm really looking forward to it, though. That's really my passion, and really just love helping people. And what a great game. You can still play until you're 70 years old and just have a good time with your bros. I mean, that's so much fun. So you can play it at a high level. You can play it on the weekends with friends. And so I'm looking forward to that kind of next chapter.
That's my attraction to golf. And it, when I really got into playing, I was playing a little well, I was in the newspaper business. So I kind of had Saturdays off at times. But just kind of getting out on the course, smelling that grass.
Yes.
And the quiet nature of the game and the almost the thought that goes into it. You can almost, it's crazy. You could almost feel the thought, That was kind of,
it's almost a reference to it too.
Yeah.
One of my buddies was like Sunday church. And then it's almost like I go to the golf course and have church again. Cause it's very like, it's just a reference. It's being out and outdoors and on some of the most beautiful pieces of property that you can be on and just enjoy. It's a great game.
And I enjoy anything you can do sport wise that you can have a couple of beverages too. So it's well worth it.
Hey, I probably should. I'd probably be a better player if I did that. Probably better than did that.
You loosen up a little bit, right? Yeah.
No doubt.
I was thinking, and just looking, through some of the stuff you had sent us. Take us through what it's like to be recruited as a golfer.
Oh boy. Well, it's very different these days. I joke with a lot of juniors. I'm like, I probably wouldn't have made it to South Carolina if it were in today's world, because I didn't get into golf until high school. And recruiting, I mean, goodness gracious, it's like 12-year-old shoots par and they're like, do you want to be signed right now? But in playing multiple sports, I was a basketball player. I played other things. And so I stumbled into golf because my dad and brother played. We got, long story short, we had badges as patrons to Augusta National to the Masters tournament. And so my grandfather bought them back in the late 50s, early 60s, when it wasn't the tournament that it is today. Today it's this global, everybody who's not, if you're not a golfer, you know what the Masters is. But back then they were just begging people to buy badges. And so my granddad got badges. And so right before high school, I went to the tournament, and that is what sparked everything for me, to see those PGA Tour players up close at kind of the mecca of golf on those hollowed grounds, where the greats have gone. I mean, that was the spark that was like, hey, let's go to the driving range when we get home. And funny story, the high school golf coach, Lexington High School, went to the Country Club of Lexington to hit golf balls for the first time. And the head coach was there, and he looked at me like, I knew you were a basketball player. How long have you been playing golf? And, he's seeing me hit balls. And I'm like, Dad, how long have we been out here? And he's like, you're on the team. We need you to be. I'm like, I don't know the rules. He's like, I'll teach you the rules. It's fine.
I don't know the rules.
Yeah. You don't need to know the rules. You can smack a golf ball. We're good to go. You're on the team. And so I didn't know what I was doing, but I picked it up very quickly. Shot from the 100, like my 4 years in high school, it was hundreds, 90s, 80s, and then 70s. So it was just a very, very steep learning curve. And I really loved the game and the challenge of it mentally. And just, all the things that come with it. But you know, to be recruited in today's world, I never would have gotten to South Carolina. I have my coach, Christy Coggins, who was my coach at South Carolina. She saw me at a South Carolina junior golf event playing against some of her highly touted recruits, and I beat them. And she was like, who in the world is this? Where did she come from? Because, you know, in the junior golf world, you're playing national junior golf tournaments all over the place to get, you know, in that ranking system to get noticed by the top SEC schools. I didn't even know that tour existed because I came from basketball. So playing in those local South Carolina Junior Golf Association events really is all I knew to do. So thank goodness she was out there recruiting, you know, looking at her prized recruits. And then I happened to be there playing really well. So, you know, the only places that looked at me were D2 schools, and the fact that there was a walk-on opportunity at South Carolina was a blessing, to be honest. So my story is a little different than everybody else's.
That's an amazing story, though, and that's so many things happen in sports that way. You know,
right?
I know some football players that, you know, like back in the 2000s when college coaches could go to the Shrine Bowl. You know, these kids would arrive at Shrine Bowl week with no offers. You know, maybe Presbyterian wants them to walk on, and they'd leave with. You know, maybe not everybody, but like a Georgia Tech or a Wake Forest would come in and get them. And those kids would go on and have good careers in the ACC. And
exactly,
if it weren't for that showcase, you know. So you grew up in Lexington. Lexington High School?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I just I got to the next line. I was like, okay, Lexington House, you're a Wildcat, right?
I'm a Wildcat.
That's good, and attended the Masters and all that good stuff. But you also are quite involved with USC Letterman. The George Rogers Foundation, your alma mater, your college alma mater in general, and you also have been on JB and Goldwater 107 about the game. So you're kind of a sports media personality, and not just a former golfer. You know,
I wouldn't go that far, but I miss our JB and Goldwater days. This is a lot of fun. But JB reached out to me several years ago, and the U.S. Women's Open was going to be in Charleston in 2019. And he was like, hey, I need your help. Not a huge golfer, you know, don't know how to talk about it. So I need you to come on and be like the golf analyst for the week. I know a lot of those girls on the tour. And so it was a blast. And I just have fun going on and talking ball, talking shop, especially when it comes to something that I'm passionate about, like golf. And so to kind of marry the two with Gamecock athletics and golf, it's just, you know, kind of a match made in heaven. And we had a great time. They got to see some really high level golf. It's amazing to me. Some guys that have never seen the LPGA Tour caliber player play golf, and then they get there and they're like, what is this? This is insane. These girls are so good. They don't miss a shot. And, you know, it's fun to have them kind of experience that for the first time. And so I had a blast doing that. And then they also had me back for the PGA Championship that was down at Kiowa Island, and got to be the golf analyst on several different shows down there in Charleston. So I've had a blast with it. I wouldn't say I'm a media personality, but just love talking about it for sure.
Yeah, gotta get your opinion of. All right, so I gotta frame this in a way. So the LIV thing. The split on the PGA. And I know there's some political angles to it and all that, but
of course,
my question is for the sport in general, for just overall the sport of golf. What's your take on that?
It's tough to watch. I agree with Tiger Woods on a lot of in fact, I went on a podcast before he had his interview, and it was basically verbatim what I said, which was very much Arnie and Jack built the PGA Tour, right? And to honor those, I'm very big on honoring those that have gone before you. Those guys didn't get to play for a lot of money, and the guys today play for a lot of money. And so there's kind of an obligation to protect the integrity of the tour, to protect the traditions and just of the game and of the PGA Tour. And Arnie and Jack kind of passed the baton to Tiger in that way. And he's held up, obviously his end on saying, listen, I I understand you have every right to go play for money, but for me, it's tough to see the divisiveness of. To be honest, I kind of have Tiger's view on it too. That's not even a tour, because a tour is 72 holes and there's a cut. The fact that it's only 54 holes, there's no cut. You could shoot 40 over par. I mean, come on now. Phil Mickelson's 10 rounds on this LIV series. He's like 40 over par. Who wants to watch that? Like you've got to play a certain level, and if you don't make the cut, you don't make the cut. Like I'm sitting here on radio because I can't shoot 63 on the LPGA tour. Like there are standards that have to be met to play. So that's just my personal opinion. I don't like it, but they have every right to go and get their money. But to then turn around and try to sue them. I mean, those golfers frankly abandoned the PGA Tour, tour that made them, and they willfully joined a competitor league. And so they knew, they understood the consequences of that action very well before they left. And you made the decision, you got to live with it, right? You can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't play both of these. The PGA Tour and the Live Series.
Yeah, I mean, when Snoop and Dre left and founded Death Row Records, they knew what they were doing, right?
Hey, that's right. You made your decision. You got to live with it.
Heck yeah. Okay, we're going to get Nana Sports chat line. We got a couple of we had that one question from Cartwright about LIV, and then Evan Small has a question.
Okay.
He says, I picked up golf while pitching in college and fell in love with the game. It's about the only thing that satisfies my competitive side these days. He's shooting the high 80s. Any tips to break 80?
Oh, a lot of tips to break 80. It would depend. I would have to see him play golf, but typically most amateurs that are shooting in the 80s and want to get in the 70s, it's a matter of course management. It's a matter of short game, to be honest. Everybody can hit it. When you're shooting in the 80s, you can hit it pretty well, but the short game, you're probably duffing a chip here and there or missing putts. And so it's probably dialing in your short game is probably the easiest answer until, I could actually see the person play.
Yeah, absolutely. And you'll be able to do that when you start teaching out at Lexington Country Club, or there's in November, don't forget, she's going to start she's opening an online course where you can send in your swing and get her to break it down for you. And that's right. That's going to be popular, I think. Very popular around here. All right. So switching sports a little bit. We know what's coming up in 2 weeks.
Yes, sir. Let's go.
I'm ready. Fired up about that a little bit. What's your thought? What are your thoughts on the forthcoming football season? I'm trying hard to kind of temper my, I don't want to say excitement, but I just look at this team, and it's just so much better of a situation than last year, roster wise.
Yes,
and you've got the head coaches of obviously Shane Beamer's got an infectious personality. Just what the doctor ordered for this program. Your take on what's going to get cranking here, and it'll be 14 days from tomorrow, so 15 from today.
Can't wait. I'm obviously cautiously optimistic as well, because I've been a Gamecock my whole life and I have scar tissue. I was in the stands for the 0-11 season. I go way back. Diehard Gamecock. So, but I love the fact that we have depth this year. My goodness. You look at every position and I'm fired up because we've got options. We can rotate out people.
Yeah.
And people don't get gassed in by the third quarter. It's so exciting. And I'm pumped for the direction that Beamer has taken this whole program, the people he's hiring, the quality of individuals. Even little things like inviting the letterman to come be a part of the program and just creating that atmosphere of everybody being one big Gamecock family. I love what he's doing. But the man can recruit, and I'm fired up about all the in-state guys. It's exactly what he did back when he was here with Spurrier, is keeping those in-state guys in-state. That's the start of, we had Stephon Gilmore, we had Alshon Jeffrey, we had Marcus, just naming off all these guys that he brought in to do that again. I'm so fired up. Y'all don't even know. I'm so excited.
It's huge.
Gamecocks got they got the top 4 guys in the state that they wanted. I mean, it's
huge,
and 3 of the top 4 rankings wise, and that's kind of what got it going the first time. And Muschamp signed his share of in-state guys, but it wasn't maybe as frequent. I don't really know. I don't know how to describe that era. I think as we get further and further from that era, the more I look back at it and just scratch my head and go, "What in the world happened?" I mean, what happened? And I talk to Florida fans all the time that feel the same way about when Champ was down there. It's just like they're like, JC, we love Will Muschamp. We thought he was a good coach, a good guy. He's a man's man. He had the best firing press conference ever at Florida, where he just basically hugged everybody and said goodbye, and all of his former players love him. I mean,
exactly.
There's no red flags, but it's just like the Twilight Zone. Wherever he coaches, you're like, you're sitting there all of a sudden, and you've outgained the other team by 400 yards, and you're down by 30. And
right?
You're like, what's going on?
What is happening?
Your whole entire team is injured. And it's like, you're, oh man. But I got a nice little story about it's kind of an analogy about the Muschamp era, but. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it too. We asked Chris Phillips from the Spurs Up Show earlier today about this, so I'm gonna ask you: Are you a person that night before football season? I know I'm like that. I can't sleep. I'm like a
can't
kid
sleep. Oh yeah,
kid at Christmas, tossing and turning that night before that first game. Or are you one that just kind of has your routine? I get because some people are like, okay, night before kickoff, in bed by 8. I'll eat pizza rolls and drink 7-Up, and then I'll wake up. But no, so how do you approach it once we get right down to the day?
Okay, so it's different than it used to be. I mean, our family was Gamecock Club members for like 30 plus years, and we just recently let them go so we could get the whole family together at the house. Which is so much fun.
Yes.
So we're like in this new era of watching Gamecock football from the house with everybody. And so it's different than it used to be. We would park in the fairgrounds, obviously the tailgating. And so now it's like we're tailgating at the house. And so I love it because we have a huge family, all Gamecocks, obviously. We all went to Carolina basically.
Oh, nice.
And so we can invite friends over and have a great time. So it's probably like, now like more prepping for having everybody over is not a day before game day now, but it's so much fun, and I can't wait. I'm like cautiously optimistic, but I'm also like that eternal like Gamecock fan that's like, we're gonna win it all.
It's like
garnet glasses on today.
Garnet glasses go on. I'm just a fan. I'm not a media member, so I'm like, we're going all the way. Let's do it.
I handle it a little better now, than I used to, but it's still like about that first loss.
Right.
Well, last year it wasn't that bad because it was Georgia, and I didn't expect.
Right, that's true.
But the Kentucky loss, that was because I was there,
and
I literally, me and my buddies, because that's the first one that you expected them to not beat Georgia or whatever, but then that Kentucky that was one you should have had. And so my buddy has a condo in Columbia up near the stadium, and so we're literally all just sitting there staring out at the lights at Williams-Brice, like the last scene from Ocean's 11, where they're just looking at the thing,
right?
And so
what just happened?
It still takes me 24 hours with that first one. It hits pretty hard, but then other than that, that's not it. I get you about doing it at home, man. I even if I lived in Columbia, I don't know that I wouldn't at times take that route, or because it's just so much more comfortable and convenient.
Oh,
and
it is.
Get everybody together too,
right? And we went to a lifetime of games. Mm-hmm. I mean, really, like 30 years. I mean, we've been to a lifetime of games, so we've had our fair share of doing that. And so now to do it in just a more comfortable setting and have everybody over, it's so fun.
I'm gonna have to get the menu from you closer to the date, so I got to see what you're eating there. I mean, it is the Nana's Porch chat box, so
This is true. This is true.
Well, Meredith,
Tell everybody real quick before we let you go where they can go on the website to find out more information about your teaching and how you can play golf and all that good stuff.
Yeah, well, you can follow me on Twitter at Mayor Taylor, MERTAYLOR. I'm going to do a big launch once my amateur playing days are over and I've finished these last couple tournaments. I'll do a big launch so everybody will know when I'm going full-time teaching, and also on the website as well. Y'all have heard it on the commercial, but McKellarEnterprises.org is where you'll see more details. There's frequently asked questions that are there. So if people have questions, they can always email me. But that's the website, and we'll have a big launch, so everybody will know when I go full-time teaching.
Yeah. Can't wait to get you on here then, and I hope people take advantage of it. Meredith Taylor going to join us every Friday, so you get the last crack at picking games.
Ooh, yes.
Before
Let's go.
Yeah, this Saturday you'll be the last person we hear from before we
Love
launch
it.
game week. So that'll be good. We appreciate you being on, Meredith, and look forward to talking to you next Friday.
Thank you so much for having me. Y'all have a good weekend.
Thanks.
You too.
Inside the Gamecocks, the show. That's Meredith Taylor, one of our sponsors. She sponsors the guest line. So what should we say? Meredith Taylor on the Meredith Taylor guest line?
Meredith Taylor on the McKellar Enterprises.
Also,
That's our cover.
Also, I've been saying her Twitter is at Mer Taylor, MER, Mer.
Mm-hmm.
And it's Mayor, obviously.
Mer.
I should have thought about that.
Yeah.
I feel like an idiot now. Mer. I mean, if you're from,
Mer Taylor.
Acklet, you may call her Meredith. So, but man, what a guest. I mean, she's a very talented person, and obviously her story is outstanding. Love to get her takes on things, the Gamecocks, and her perspective on everything. And it looks like the golfers in the Nana Sports chat box and that are listening to us will enjoy it as well. And it certainly will be a good guest to have on a Friday for football season as we kind of march toward kickoff. The march toward kickoff. You remember those during World War II? They had those commercials. The march toward victory.
The march to victory. Yeah.
The march to kickoff. Phil and JC leading the boys to battle. Oh,
yeah. I love it. Yeah.
I'm not making fun of World War II. I'm making fun of the commercials.
No, that's right. Yeah.
Those USO commercials. Come on. Don't let save your tires. Don't help the Japanese. Cartwright says Tennessee loss puts me in a big slump. I needed counseling after Birch threw that interception. I was in a bar, right? I should have run away a little bit. I got thrown out of a bar, No, I was at a bar, and not a lot of South Carolina people in my end of Chicago, right, watching the game with me at taverns. So it was 11 a.m. kickoff, so we went and had a little brunch. I like the steak and eggs and the mimosas, and I'm sitting there, and we're the only people in the bar. Now this is a pretty popular bar, just wasn't popular there. So we're like, so he throws that pass, and I yell, "What in the hell are you doing?" And the lady our bartender was like cleaning something, and she jerked and like fell and slipped and stuff.
I think my response to that, I think I sent you a 3-letter text message after that happened.
Yeah, it was. I didn't even, and I've got some of these friends that'll text me during the game that are venting about the coaches and players, but it makes you almost uncomfortable because it's like they're coming at you.
Yeah, right.
We're not talking to my buddies about the game. I don't like to be negative because they're my buddies and we're watching it, and so it's going to be fun. So if even professionally, I'm like, there's no way they're going to win this ball game. But when I'm with my friends, I like to kind of be positive because otherwise you're in a bad mood before it even starts, and they're your buddies. But if you do that, then some of these people who are turning into psychos for 3 hours every Saturday, God bless them. They're like my lifelong friends. They'll just sit there and start cussing at me. I can't believe we said this.
We told everybody this week we were gonna. Yeah.
We're gonna do this, and then you said we had a shot, and I'm like, well, you play in Alabama.
Right.
Actually, the last time Carolina played Alabama, if it weren't for a bad call at the end of the half,
At least it would have been close.
That's right. Yeah, at least it would have been
Craig
close.
said Muschamp never signed 10 4-stars, and he thinks the Gamecocks will this year. I'm with you, Craig. And look, while I would have liked to have seen what Muschamp could have done with the transfer portal, I don't know that you could ask much better than what Beamer and his staff have done with it either. I mean, they've taken advantage of that big time. But like I said, the next step in recruiting was always get more blue chip high school players. Yeah. Luke says needs to get help with his golf swing. How to correct the bad baseball hitch. Luke, please come back next Friday and ask her that. In fact, Phil, we can save this message and like email it to ourselves or something, right?
Yeah, I'll star it. I think that's what does it.
Yeah. Cartwright used to live in Chicago. I can relate to the bars being empty on Saturdays. Yeah, these people up here don't have any kind of reverence for college football Saturdays whatsoever. Do you? She's a Notre Dame fan. But yeah, I mean, you're 2 hours from Notre Dame and you don't care about college football. No, we don't. We just care about the Bears and Bears, Cubs, White Sox. I mean, they schedule C-team high school football on Saturdays, and not like Saturday morning, right?
Gosh,
like 2:30 p.m. Like they're
like not even a morning.
Yeah. I'm really wanting to go watch C-team football. I'm going to see some C-team football here in a couple hours. The Moose, our kid, he's starting at guard. So, but we were, I'm not on college football Saturday. Come on, man, come on. But anyway, Marcus says, JC, you ever done stand up? No. I don't have I don't have the discipline to write it. You have to write a lot when you do stand up. If I could ever get something down, I'll definitely consider that. Meredith chimes in and says she will definitely help Luke next week. And we are overtime. OT. You down with OTT? Yeah, you know me. Josh says, what's up, guys? Dropping in on lunch while students are at lunch. That's my buddy. He's a teacher. He does the God's work, man. I know Josh and Josh and his family, really good people from my hometown of Spartanburg, South Carolina. All right, folks, we got to wrap up the week. It's been a heck of one. Awesome. And we'll have, I think, isn't John Whittle Monday?
Yeah, John Whittle's coming on Monday, and I'm working a couple other people to get on later in the week. That should be fun to talk to.
Got some all-stars coming in, I think, plus Jamie Bradford. And everybody else. For Phil Mullinax, this is J.C. Sherbert. This has been another episode of Inside the Gamecocks, the show. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll holla at you on Monday.